Hey everybody, and welcome to Springfield, Missouri, where I just got done doing the Missouri Music Educators Conference. I love the Missouri Conference. It is seriously like a party. They hold it at a place called Margaritaville. It is fantastic. If I saw you there, go ahead and drop me a note saying hi. But today we're gonna get into our next video about how to help students practice effectively. We're gonna get into the hindbrain. So we've talked about the midbrain, how the midbrain is the driver and creates all this motivation and all of this drive and want to do something. Manipulating the midbrain is really a huge part of a music teacher's job. Then there's the forebrain, where you pack information. And remember, the best way to get information to stick in a forebrain is to make the midbrain happy about uptaking that information by organizing it into a story. Forebrains love stories because it lights up the midbrain with emotions. The hindbrain, which by the way, if you were to come up the neck, just as a reminder, if you're gonna come up the neck and find the hollow, the hindbrain is right there. The hindbrain is responsible for all automatic movement. Now, not autonomic. The way to think about this is anything that you can do now that you couldn't do the day you were born has been uptaken by this little structure in the back of the brain. It's called the cerebellum as well, if you want to look it up. This part of the brain is incredibly powerful. So it's about 10% of the brain's mass. It's just this little structure, but it holds wholly half of the brain's neurons and the brain's power. In the brain, the power of a structure is determined by how much surface area it gets. That's why it's so important to know that the structure for creating words is only about the size of your thumb on the left side of your head, and it's just a millimeter deep, almost no surface area for that. But the hindbrain, anything that we do for automatic movement, that is folded just tight as the iPhone that I'm recording this on right now. The hindbrain doesn't understand words. We talked about this in one of the videos. This is the words area, this is the movement area. The hindbrain couldn't care less about your story. All it wants to do is repeat. So if you're doing some motion that you want to be automatic, it has to be repeated and 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 repeated. But here's the thing. You might have just noticed as I was talking that every time I said repeated, it got a little bit more irritating for you. That's because the words part of your brain, the thinking part of your brain up here, hates repetition. It hates it. There's only two things that make repetition even reasonably acceptable to the forebrain. Music, which will let you do things over and over again, like she loves you, yeah, 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 right? It'll let you do that. She loves you, yeah. It'll let you do it over and over again. The other thing that makes repetition bearable for the forebrain is by making repetition into a story. Repetition and story is a game. Hindbrains love repetition. They don't really care about games. Games are what make the hindbrain and the forebrain happy to work together. So if you just tell a kid, go practice, I need you to practice right now, just do it over and over and over again, it's going to make the forebrain angry. It's going to be like, I hate this repetition. But if you say, go do this 10 times in a row, but if you make a mistake, you have to start over again, and then you train kids how to make a game out of that, then you're winning. Don't despise games, especially repetitive games. They actually create really high quality practice because you're doing something over and over again, but with joy. That makes the driver happy. That makes your midbrain happy. It also trains people to do repetitive things over and over again with joy, and how amazing is that? Obviously, the whole process of repeating needs to be carefully practiced. You have to train somebody to do games well. If you want to know more about that, you can get the audiobook, the ebook, or the print book of Making Musicians, A Guide to Emotionally Intelligent Music Instruction from the IAM Academy. Also, if you're getting this email, you're part of our little community here. I wanted to let you know it's the beginning of the year and I'm starting to get all of my spring and fall things structured. So if you are at a school district that might want some of this kind of unique brain training, get a hold of us. Go to the website, the IAM Academy, and go for your organization, fill out the form, and we'd love to hear from you. If you work at a university or you're a university student and you would love to just dive deep into this stuff, and trust me guys, there is a lot to get into, go ahead and fill out that form on the organization page as well.